And welcome to another edition of the Official McCoy podcast. I am Jelani McCoy, and once again, we are in the beautiful digs provided by No Coast and the people here at Officialized Media. Hope you guys have a good beginning of the week. As we like to do, let's get straight into it. In the NFL news, Sunday Night Football was cracking. The Chargers beat the Steelers. It's a pretty good game. Keenan Allen balled out. Went for about 14 receptions, 148 yards, and a touchdown. And he does it in a variety of different ways for not being a real big receiver or not even really fast for that. Can't say that he's slow, but he doesn't seem like he relies on speed. But anyway, Keenan Allen was balling. The refs weren't balling. They blew it on a couple calls. And the refs were having a decent year this year for the last past years. They haven't blown as many calls, but they blew a couple block in the backs on a kick return. They blew some offsides on a touchdown. But that wasn't the best part of the game. The best part of the game was Mike Tomlin's pettiness at the end of the game. It was beautiful. I knew Justin was somewhere irritated. He doesn't like things like that. But I like when things happen like that in the professional sports. He purposely told the guys to go offsides, trying to block the field goal. You do it in Madden. We do it in Madden when we lose, and you start getting salty and you losing to somebody that's not supposed to beat you in Madden, and you start going offsides all the time. We say it here all the time on the Official McCoy podcast. If it happens in Madden, it happens in the NFL. After all, the games are simulations nowadays, right? Love it, Mike Tomlin. We need more of it. Are the Chargers really Super Bowl contenders? No. It's the curse of leaving the whale's vagina, better known as San Diego, to all my anchor man heads. Can't just bounce and leave us here in San Diego and go check up in the StubHub Center and win the Super Bowl. Life ain't supposed to work like that. Los Angeles got enough going on. They got LeBron. They got the Rams. We're not going to have the Chargers sliding into the Super Bowl trying to play the Rams. Could you imagine that? I think like a third of the population in San Diego will pass out wherever they are, in their car, in like the store. If they're reading it on their phones, they get an update on one of those ESPN apps that the Chargers going to meet the Rams in the Super Bowl. People are going to pass out. It's not going to be good. Women who are going to be having children, that's the stuff that's going to be passed in utero to a child who's going to be disgusted at the sight of the lightning bolt for the rest of his life. Unfortunately, we have to make an update on the Cowboys. The Cowboys are officially not boo-boo. They beat the Saints 13-10 last Thursday. The boys are first in the East. They've been handing the ball back off to Ezekiel Elliott like they should, not trying to spread it around with your boy. Speaking of, there's a lot of questions going on, and has Dak Prescott earned the right not to be Whack Prescott? Hold your horses, not quite yet. He's afforded not to be called Whack Prescott. He's moved on from Whack Prescott to old boy. His Cowboys are first in the East. I don't think it's his doing. I think it's Tank's doing. DeMarcus Lawrence and Jalen Smith, the defense. Actually, it's the Cowboy defense that's gotten them to first in the East. That, coupled with Alex Smith losing his leg, Colt McCoy lost his leg. Ever since Joe Theismann showed up on his anniversary, the R words have lost two starting quarterbacks, well, their starter and their backup, to leg injuries. Odd. But we're not moving on. The Whack Prescott card is still in the deck. Hasn't disappeared. We're not throwing that out like you throw out the one funny style card in the Jokers before you play. We're not doing that. Switching right along to Kansas City Chief news. Kareem Hunt got cut by the Chiefs. We don't need to see the video. We don't really need to see the apology he had with Lisa Salters. All we can hope for is that everybody, all the people that were harmed in this situation, including the young lady and Kareem, can hopefully move on, and whatever that means. I don't mean move on, meaning he should have an opportunity to play football. Who's to say he could or couldn't? I'm not basically going to touch that subject. I'm just going to move on like how I do, transition ever so smoothly into other subjects that, you know, I don't care to have opinion on that right now. What I do care to have opinion on is how A-Aron threw Mike McCarthy under the bus. McCarthy's out of there in Green Bay. Didn't get to finish this season. Didn't hear A-Aron Rodgers, A-Aron doing a whole lot of sticking up or voicing his opinion for McCarthy, I think. What do you say? They did some good things? That's pretty much what you say to your girlfriend when it's over, right? You know, we had some good times. Yeah, won a Super Bowl. You know, we had some good times. Went to a couple concerts. That's what you tell your ex when you're about to check out. You know, we went to a couple nice restaurants. You know, Hawaii was cool. You know, Cabo was cool. You know, but it didn't work out. So they're going to move on. Would you coach Aaron?
And right now I'm just focused on these next 4 games and the direction we're going with Joe. You know, I'm obviously an older player in the league. I still have a number of years on my contract. Would love to still play to 40, and you know, I think there's an interest on who the next guy would be, but you know, Mark and Brian and I have always had you know, good lines of communication. Their offices, like they say, are always open. I've had conversations with them, like I've had with Ted over the years, and I'm not, you know, needing to be involved in that process.
How do you not coach A-Aron at the end of the day? He's supposed to be the beloved, right? The best quarterback that we've ever seen, you know, but who else are you going to coach? Would you coach Ben Roethlisberger or A-Aron Rodgers? Roethlisberger, but we're talking about coaching. We're talking about coaching one quarterback. You going with A-Aron or Ben Roethlisberger? Rodgers. It's kind of hard not to coach Rodgers, right? He has all the gifts and the physical tools. He's a little bit younger. He seemed like he moves a little bit better than the other quarterbacks. So, yeah, I'll coach A-Aron. I bench his ass, too, if he started that arrogant A-Aron locker room stuff. That's what Mike McCarthy didn't do. He didn't hold A-Aron accountable. We know A-Aron is dope. We seen the highlights. Mike McCarthy, we know you won a Super Bowl, but sometimes you got to do the Popovich, right? Popovich was hard on Tim Duncan and all his all-stars and Manu and those guys because he knew they could take it. A-Aron can take it. He out there wearing them silly-ass mustaches in front of the media. Got to have a little bit of sand to wear a mustache like that in the media, even though you're playing in Green Bay. Let's cross that thing on over into the NCAA because the college football playoff is set. Bama, Clemson, Notre Dame, Oklahoma. Georgia, Oklahoma State, you're out of there. I knew they was going to do this to Georgia. Y'all knew they was going to play Georgia like this and made it look good, but at the end of the day, they didn't beat Alabama. You got to beat Alabama, Georgia, to get in there because Notre Dame came through undefeated. You know, the Irish are galvanizing the people who make the championship series because they want Notre Dame to be in the Final Four again. It makes money. It looks good. Notre Dame travels well, makes more bread. Not Oklahoma State. Ohio State is out, but y'all know why Ohio State is out. They can't be affording to keep her rehashing the Urban Meyer story week over week till the end of the year or at the first of the year. When's the championship game? The first of the year? Yeah, they're not going to go into the new year with that Urban Meyer story on their head. Y'all know what happened where, you know what? Jalen Hurts had an impressive performance for Alabama. That's why he stayed. Hats off to his dad. That's good parenting. His dad told him to stick it out. If he doesn't stick it out, he doesn't have that 7-for-9, 82-yard performance and lead him to a comeback win against Georgia. Georgia could have snuck on and then got in that playoff. But Jalen Hurts stays put, continues to develop and support Tua, who got hurt. Tua's been getting hurt all year. It's the SEC, man. Tua does a lot of running around. It only takes one hit to miss a couple plays or to be knocked out of the game. I think Jalen Hurts knew this. Good hats off to Pops. Pops put him on some game. Good job, Jalen. Stayed there. Got an opportunity to win a game. A good game. That was an important game for him to win. He just wins. He only won a national championship, right? He's won some pretty big games. He wasn't scared of Georgia. Good for him. Does that make Bama human? No. They'd have been human if they lost, but they won. You got to win in a national championship. When you win in a championship, you got to win in a variety of different ways. You got to blow everybody out, blow a couple people out, win a couple, at least 1 or 2 games you shouldn't have. You know, it's not always just about hanging up 50 points on everybody and beating everybody by 2 or 3 touchdowns. The Heisman favorite is probably going to be Kyler Murray. He deserves it. He's always explosive when you look at him on film and you see his highlights. Who are the other options? Who are our other options? Tua and Dwayne Haskins. 2 good ones. 2 good ones. But I believe the injuries with Tua and Jalen having to come in and, you know, substitute. Or, you know what? At the end of the day, they pulled him. They would be up so big. He would put up such a big stats in the first half. He would get pulled. And now, you know, Kyler gets to play a whole game. His stats look a little bit different because he's playing the whole game and not just the first half. And Haskins has been playing in games where they're scoring like 100 points, though. So, you know, and he's down there. Urban has looking good. Urban kind of transformed that Ohio State thing for Haskins. I thought he was going to win it, but he didn't. Urban is going to tap out, y'all. We talked about Urban on the podcast. Urban's going to have to tap out, and I'm not going to do that to Urban. I've been on record as saying he's been, you know, one of the coaches that has been a little bit entitled everywhere he goes. There seems to be he kind of leaves a mess behind. But if these are health issues, maybe Urban did leave some stuff behind because he knew he only had a short amount of time. He wanted to get some kids through school and get some kids in the NFL. And if that's your reason, sir, Mr. Meyer, my hats are off to you, and I'll back down all the statements of entitlement. Because I know if I was a coach, coaching is a hell of a gig. You know, they don't even get a lot of pleasure out of coaching now. They get some relief. So I hope Urban Meyer's whole plan was to get as many kids he could through college and help some kids achieve their goals in the NFL. I'm rolling with Urban Meyer. If that's the case, what's his legacy going to be? What are we going to say about Urban Meyer when we look back at Urban Meyer? Urban, I know what, your ass better not coach again. We ain't going to do this with you. We did this with Brett Favre and a couple other people, you know what I mean, athletes and coaches talking about they was going to come back and teasing. But you can't do this. It can't be the health every year and then you did for a year and all of a sudden you're coaching in the NFL. Then we know something was up, Urban. But hopefully, I don't want to speak on anybody's health issues. We can't speculate. I don't know Urban Meyer's doctors, dog. All we doing here is analyzing a little bit and saying what we see from our perspective. Urban Meyer's legacy will be as a winner. Didn't he win like 90% of his games? He was cracking at Utah. He was cracking at Bowling Green. He was cracking in Florida. Sent a whole bunch of kids to the pros. He made Alex Smith the first pick in the draft. When you peel the onion back somewhere around success, Urban Meyer was involved. Damn. He only brought Ohio State back to prominence. Ohio State is Ohio State, but they was down for a minute after what's his name, Tressel left. And Ohio State was average for a minute till they got Urban Meyer back. Hope he goes somewhere and gets that cyst taken care of. That sounds scary. Heard some reports he got to have it drained. How you drain a cyst in your brain? They got to go through your nasal cavity. Cool. Urban Meyer going through some alien abduction shit just to coach college football. Damn. Yeah, Urban, go sit down somewhere, man. But I don't want to find out don't let me catch no notification that you took some job in the NFL. Go chill and enjoy your family. I don't know what your kid's situation is like, but go chill and enjoy your family. You can't be killing over there on the sideline, dog. You've done enough. In NBA news, another crossover. Right into NBA news. The West is tight in the NBA, right? It used to be the East was separated by just a few games. But everybody was under 500, right? The East is a little different. You got teams under 500 make the playoffs sometimes. Y'all know how it goes down on the West. They be winning over there. And the games of 1 through 14 is separated by like 5.5 games. The Lakers are 14-9 and in the 5th. If they ended today, they'd be the 5th seed. You need to applaud, Laker fans. If the season ended today and they would play the Warriors, and that's what you wanted. Kobe's out here talking about we'll be back in a minute, right? Saying Warrior fans, enjoy this, you know. Lakers will be back in a minute. I can't fight that, Kobe. Can't fight that. You know what I mean? But the fan base, we should be happy. 14-9, 5th seed. It ain't been looking like this. And I said ain't. I'm not going to use correct English today. They ain't been looking like this since what is it, 4 years? 3-4 years? What do we have to look back on? Nothing to resemble 14-9 and in the 5th seed. I'll tell you that. So shout out to King James. He's doing what he said he's going to do. It's looking good over there. They might make a move. Who knows? They need to make a couple moves. Yeah, somebody got to go. And I ain't saying who, but somebody got to go because it's not gelling. It's not coming back right? So we mix it up and we putting it in the oven, and every time it's coming back, it's off. It's off. I got my ideas of who should go, but I'm not going to do that to you, the young fellas. I've been in the league, and I know how the speculation works, but it's not coming back right. No, I don't know. It's not, and it's not the icing because we haven't put the icing on it yet. So we just testing a small taste, even on the grill. When you put that little taster piece, and you got the little taster piece on the side, nah, dog. You know, put the lid back on that thing. You're trying to cook it with the lid open. This because you think you got a long flame. Anyway, Toronto is 20-5. That's coming back right. That Kawhi Leonard taste in Toronto's mouth is coming back right. Are they the best team in the NBA? I think so. They're the most enjoyable team to watch. Besides the Warriors, when they have their full complement. I mean, I can't watch Houston. I can't watch Houston, dog. I like watching Milwaukee. The Clippers they play almost the same type of way. They're just playing basketball, y'all. They ain't relying on analytics and all this other stuff that they make you think is important. They just out there hooping, playing defense, got a humble superstar that plays two ways, lifting everybody else, sliding off into the New Balance. Y'all mad. Y'all mad at Kawhi for signing with New Balance. Y'all said that Trump or New Balance or supports 45. Excuse me. We don't say. Who knows? So we throwing Kawhi under the bus because the executives support 45. Kawhi's from the Inland Empire. Do you think he knows that information? Are we mad at Kawhi for not knowing that information? Should he have not signed until he has vetted out all that information? What's to say that executives at some of these things we think support, or some of those brands we think we love, don't support 45? Executives are smart. They're not going to tell you that they downloading from Pornhub on the road. Why would they tell you that they support 45 if you about to affect their bottom line? Come on, man. We don't have all the resources and time to be blowing into every company trying to figure out who supports 45 or who made some 45 comments. What we can do, it was a good move for Kawhi. It fits his personality, right? The shoes are comfortable. Mike didn't want him. He didn't want to cut the check. Anyway, in NHL news, Seattle gets a franchise, but that's the wrong franchise that Seattle deserves. Unfortunately, I'm happy for Seattle. You know, I like hockey sometimes. I like the playoffs, and I like to watch highlights. 2021 will be their inaugural season. What's the team name? It better not be no loosely Sonic-based or color thing. Like, isn't the Storm is like a loosely Seattle Supersonic reference? The logo and the colors, I believe, are like the Sonic color. I'm not going to tolerate that. Hold on. Aren't all Pittsburgh teams black and yellow? Just thought about that. Maybe they can do that. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe you keep the city in uniform with the color scheme, and that's good marketing. I don't know. I don't know the team name. I know that 2021 is their inaugural season. I'm happy for Seattle, but they need to announce when the inaugural season for the Sonics is going to be. And like I said, if y'all don't want them in Seattle, we'll take them here in San Diego. Sonics fit. We got a Top Gun reference, right? We're Top Gun. Jets go supersonic. You know, We got naval bases. It fits. Give us the Sonics. We need somebody. The stinking ass Chargers left us and went up to L.A., started winning. They're gonna lose. Don't you know how the Chargers act? They go 14-2 and then lose a game that they should have won, doing some galactic Charger blow it stuff, or maybe they don't. I don't know. This has been another episode of the official McCoy podcast. We don't fact check for real. You don't have to. You know, this is our perspective. We're analyzing the way we see things from our perspective. That's all we're doing now. We do have any we do have insiders news, but we don't report that to you, not the way the talking heads do. Just give it to you how it is at face value. And I'm not always right, not always going to be, and neither are you. This is the official McCoy podcast. I am Jelani McCoy. Once again, No Coast, official eyes is in the house. We'll see you next time.